Shalom, shalom. This evening I want to do another short video on another mistranslation, another bad translation out of the King James Bible. It's in Romans 3, verse 19, starting at 19. Another verse they use to deceive people. And we'll start reading in verse 19. Now we know that what things soever the law saith, it saith to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before God. Therefore, by the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. Wait a minute. By the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified. Isn't that contrary to what the law is? You're justified by the doing the law. That's what Paul said. The hearers shall not be justified, only the doers of the law shall be justified. So let's see where this translation's wrong. Well, keep reading the rest. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Okay, well, they say, for by the law is the knowledge of sin, so that means the law is good. But there they say, therefore by the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified. Don't make any sense to me. Sounds like a bad translation. That's why we're going to look at this other book of scriptures here and see what it's supposed to say to fit the context of the verse and the chapter. So let's go to this verse here in the book of Yahuwah translation. Before I go to this one, I want to jump down to verse 28 right here. I forgot this one here. Therefore, we see it right here. Therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. So, you're justified without the deeds of the law? The deeds of the law is the righteousness of the law, the righteous deeds you do of the law. So let's see this version right here. I got it outlined in blue for you. So we'll start here in verse 19. Now we know that as long as the law is preached, they who are under the law will preach it, so that every mouth will be silenced, and all the world may become under the judgment of Yahuwah. Because anyone who does anything outside the law, see there? Anyone who does anything outside the law will not be justified. So you have to do the law to be justified before him. For through the law comes the full knowledge of sin. Verse 21, yet now has the righteousness of Yahuwah been manifested apart from the law? Question mark. It's a rhetorical question. No. I'll read that again. Yet now has the righteousness of Yahuwah been manifested apart from the law? Well, the King James Version says in verse 21, but now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested. So they're saying that the Messiah was without the law? You see that? How bad of a mistranslation that is? Let's go down to verse 28 now. Right here, verse 28. Are we concluding then that a man is justified apart from the works of the law? Question mark. Another rhetorical question. That means no. The King James Version says, therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. That is a bad translation. This is why people get deceived right here in these verses. Yet another one. There's many. I'm just going to be doing a few verses at a time on short videos. That way you can see. That way you don't get too many verses at one time, where you can actually see the corruption here that's in the King James Bible, where they just clearly leave out words that completely destroys the context of the whole chapter. All you got to really do is go back through the chapter and read, and you can see where that makes no sense, because it makes Paul look like a liar and a deceiver when he's talking about how righteous the law is, and the law is good, and then he goes to the next verse, tells how that there shall no flesh be justified by the deeds of the law, and that you can be justified through faith without the deeds of the law. It's totally unscriptural, and it doesn't make any sense when you actually read it. Okay, anyhow, there's another few verses of scripture that's been mistranslated in the good old trusty King James Bible, which I'm not condemning anybody that uses it, because I've used it and I used to lift it up in times past, but now that once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. All right. Shalom.